Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'm going to be playing another Premier Draft of Streets of New Capenna. This is the rotating Premier Draft format for the next 5 days, and then we have Arena Cube Drafts back on Arena this Friday. Very excited for that, but in the meantime, let's fill our time with a few of these New Capenna drafts. Without further ado, let's look at our Pack 1. I don't like this rare very much. You need to be a very heavily multicolored deck to get the value off of this, and then maybe you can get that hideaway if you have a lot of treasure tokens. This format is really aggressive though, tends to lean itself towards 2-color decks, so I don't love trying to go for 5-color treasury splashy stuff. We have 2 really good uncommons, Citizen's Crowbar and Raffine's Silencer. The benefit of the Crowbar is its main deckable artifact and enchantment removal. The benefit of the Silencer is this can often be a 2-for-1. It's going to come out as potentially a 2/2 for 3 mana that will maybe trade off with an opposing 2 toughness creature and give another thing -X/-X. So the Raffine's Silencer can be pretty good. And our next card we get past in black is definitely really good, the Night Clubber. 3 mana for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. So this can clear away a lot of 1/1s and 2/1s. So cards like Backup Agent are 1/1s that put a counter on another creature. Cards like Angelic Overseer you're going to see a lot, or Inspiring Overseer I believe it's called. That's a 3 mana 2/1 flyer. There's a lot of good 1 toughness cards in the format, and Night Clubber being able to often shred those away makes this very often a 2 or 3 for 1 very good card advantage card while being very low mana value, so super sweet card. And the blitz cost is just the icing on the cake. If having a 2/2 around isn't going to impact the game that much, then you can just blitz it in, so you can instead sack it in your end step and draw a card, but still get that nice -1/-1 effect out of it. And I'm very happy to just keep it to mono black so far, because we see the best black common here, or at least my favorite black common, Girder Goons, a huge blitz card, another card that really shows off the value of blitz abilities, where for 4 mana you get to blitz this in, attack with a 4/4. They're not going to want to block because it's going to die in your end step anyway, so often 4 mana sorcery speed, deal 4 damage to your opponent, create a tapped 2/2, and draw a card. So Girder Goons is super sweet, and that's not the only thing it can do. It's flexible. If you need the 4/4 body on board, then just slam it down for 5. Get a 4/4 on board that still makes a 2/2 when it dies, so I love Girder Goons here. Deal Gone Bad is fine, but I think Murder's generally better. The upside of Deal Gone Bad is it can get rid of shield counters in this format. There's cards like Voice of the Vermin that come with a shield counter, so you can't destroy these with cards that say destroy until you get rid of the shield counter, but you can still -3/-3 them and kill them. But yeah, not a massive fan of Deal Gone Bad. Definitely not taking it over Girder Goons, but just want to mention that there. Pack 1, pick 4 doesn't really have anything for us in black. Revel Ruiner is fine. That being said, nothing off color is particularly powerful. Ready to Rumble is fine. Filler removal. For the Family is a pretty solid combat trick in green, but not really a reason to jump onto green, especially because we'd be in enemy colors if we head that way. And then same with like Skycrier and Buyer Silence. Filler removal. A solid 2-drop creature, but neither of these are reasons to jump into another color, so I'm just going to take the Revel Ruiner. We're taking kind of a filler card in whatever color we take there. Riveteer's Overlook might be a decent pickup here, just in case we end up in black, red, green, or black, red, blue, which is a decently high possibility because there aren't every single 3-color mixture in this format. It's just the ally colored ones, so black, red, green, black, red, blue, or black, white, blue. So there's only one 3-color pair we could end up in that land wouldn't work for. But the Maestro's Theater is going to work in literally any deck we end up playing, because we're going to be in black, blue, or black, red at the minimum, even if we get a 3rd color, because of the way that the 3-color families overlap. So we could take Theater here, but there's also just a really powerful blue card we can take. Echo Inspector, 4 mana for a 2/3 flyer, draws a card, discards a card, gets a +1/+1 counter potentially. I'm going to take Echo Inspector over Deal Gone Bad here. I do think it is a better card, and it looks like we're heading in the blue-black direction now if we get past that nice and late Echo Inspector. I cannot speak today, but what else is new? We've got a Rooftop Nuisance here, which is a very solid casualty card. It's very tempting in this color pair because this is really a casualty color pair. It's about getting your cheap little creatures out, sacrificing them for good value. That being said, Waterfront District is perfect mana fixing for us. It mana fixes us and prevents mana flood in the late game. So Waterfront District or Rooftop Nuisance is a pretty hard choice. Really late Gathering Throng here. If we were in white, we could try to be the 5 Gathering Throng deck that gets some huge value off that. I am going to go ahead and take that Rooftop Nuisance there. Now we have a Snooping Newsy. We're pretty much committed to blue-black now, so this is a very solid pickup for us. We could again take Mana Fixing. Don't have to take the Mana Fixing massively high in this format. You can very easily get away with just running an aggressive 2-color deck, which is how we look so far. That being said, the Mana Fixing does leave you open to splashing in the powerful tri-colored cards that will show up. That being said, pretty happy to take Newsy here. Great for the color pair. It's a little bit of self-mill, which the color pair cares about. Cares about this having 5 or more different mana values in your type. It's better than all of these mono blue cards in this pack, or the mono black card in my opinion. So I'm going to take that. It's definitely between that and the land there. Alright, Hypnotic Grifter's a nice card, a very good mana sink in the late game, preventing Mana Flood or Mana Screw, whichever you're worried about. Spend your 3 mana, draw a card, and discard a card at instant speed, potentially even making the Grifter bigger in the process. So love me a Hypnotic Grifter. Very nice mana sink there. Blue-black looking wide open here. Not that these cards are particularly good. Revel Ruiner and Disdainful Stroke are the only cards I would play here, and they're both pretty filler at that. Disdainful Stroke can like maybe counter some big bombs late game, but this format is aggressive enough that it's really hard to hold up counter spells a lot of the time, so I'm just going to hold up a Revel Ruiner here, or pick up a Revel Ruiner. And lots of really late lands, which is nice. Neither of these involve swamps, though, which is not good for us. That being said, I guess we will take a Broker's Hideout here, because it's possible we can be blue, black, white. That is Obscura. That is one of the 3-color archetypes. There is no archetype that's going to overlap red, green, or white with us very much. But the Hideout can overlap on the blue-white half of that land. Now we have a Backstreet Bruiser, fine little defender if we need it that maybe attacks later. We have a Kill Shot, that would be splashed in removal, which hopefully we won't need in blue-black. I don't think I take Kill Shot. I think I just take the Bruiser. More likely to see play here. These cards are all very off-color for us. Red, green, and white cards. Public Enemy is just not a good card, but I'm still going to take it to send a message. Hopefully the drafters on our left end up in Cabaret here, and we get a nice late Maestro's Theater. Super happy with that. That is definitely getting played, because at worst, it's an Evolving Wilds that picks up a blue or black source. And at best, we end up in Maestros. We end up in blue, black, and red, and we really make use of it. So we've opened up Jetmir, Nexus of Rebels, which is really unfortunate. These are the 3 colors we're not playing, so I'm not going to pick up this card. 5-color does not work in this format. It's way too aggressive for that. Can't really just take this and go for it here. We've got to take something at least tangentially related to our colors, like Obscure Charm is an option. We can splash this in off of some white mana sources, and it's a pretty good card. Counter an instant or sorcery, destroy a creature with mana value 3 or less, or return a multicolored permanent with mana value 3 or less from grave to battlefield tapped. Seems pretty good, only shooting small things though I'm not a massive fan of. I think I'm pretty happy to just take a Girder Goons over that because of its ability to only get small things. Make Disappear is pretty solid in the set too, because it's such a cheap little counterspell here and it works well with your casualty stuff, with your expendable creatures. Slip Out the Back is a fine Snakeskin Veil style hexproof trick, but I love me a Girder Goons and I'm going to pick me up a Girder Goons. Now we've got a Whack as a nice uncommon removal spell here. 4 mana to give a creature -4/-4 until end of turn at worst. If you're playing against white, you get to do that for only 1 mana, which is very good. So Whack is very, very good against the shield counter decks because it's one of those -X removal spells. In case the Joint feels slow for the format, just spending a bunch of mana just to draw cards. Dig Out the Body is similar to me, but slightly better than Case the Joint in my opinion, because you do get some good self-mill value off of it if you are in a deck that cares about it. We have another Girder Goons now, which is pretty sweet. We've got a Riveteer's Overlook for black-red fixing. If we go Maestros, we have Grisly Sigil, which can be pretty good. 1 mana, deal 1 to a creature and gain a life. If it was dealt non-combat damage to this turn, you deal another 3. So if you casualty this, you can basically do 4 damage to 1 target and gain 4 life. That being said, we don't have the most expendable sacrifice fodder for our casualty spells right now, so I don't know how well they're going to work. Honestly, I'm more on Girder Goons, but we already have double. They're going slightly late. We'll probably get plenty of them. Grisly Sigil feels like something we'll see less often, but it might wheel. I don't know about this. I'm just going to keep taking Girder Goons. You can tell me I shouldn't be taking Girder Goons, but you can't stop me from taking Girder Goons. All right, pack 2, pick 4. Broker's Veteran is an okay little casualty target. You sacrifice it, get a shield counter on something else. It's also fine to trade it off in the early game if you have another creature on board. The 1 toughness is a pretty big bummer, but fine casualty target. I'm not a fan of Join the Maestros or Cutthroat Contender. And the only other card we'd take is potentially a Skybridge Towers for splashing in white. Maybe we could pick up the 5,000 copies of Gathering Throng that are in this pod, but not that high on it. We'll go for Broker's Veteran here. Well, I am high on Gathering Throng, but I'm not that high on potentially speculating on the white splash here. That being said, now it's between Make Disappear and Nimble Larcenist, which is a 3-mana 2/1 flyer that exiles an artifact, instant, or sorcery from your opponent's hand forever. Even if Nimble Larcenist dies, that card is still gone from your opponent's hand. So that is a really, really good card. So I'm actually going to pick that up, and now I will start taking mana fixing highly. Like even Waterfront District helps us get more white sources in the deck because that gives us another blue and black source. So we need less land slots designated to our blue and black sources. So we're just going to start scooping up all the mana fixing that we see because I'd love to play this Nimble Larcenist in here. Another Broker's Veteran might just be the pick just because we don't have a lot of 1 and 2 mana creatures, and they're very important in this format. Quick Draw Dagger is good if you're getting into combat a lot. I think we're kind of just running past each other a lot in this deck. A lot of evasive creatures like Flyers, Menace. Dagger's good with Menace with Revel Runer, but I think I'm just taking another Veteran. Well, actually no, we got the last one pretty late. Maybe we'll get this one pretty late. Take the Quick Draw Dagger here. Exotic Pets is a great card. Get 2 unblockable 1/1 tokens, and if you have any counters on your permanents, you can put a counter of each type on one of those fish, so you can get 1 fish with a +1/+1, 1 fish with a shield counter. It's actually a really good card, and I'm going to take that for splashing as well. Really wish the Skybridge Towers was in a different pack than the Exotic Pets, but you do what you got to do sometimes. I'm going to go for a run out of town here. Solid removal, not full-on removal, but it's a great piece of interaction that slows your opponent down a lot. And we do wheel the Obscura Charm. There's another Broker's Hideout for a white-blue mana fixer. So I like Obscura Charm a lot here. There's also the Shattered Seraph, which is nice because it's another card that can mana fix our white mana while giving us a nice late-game play. It might even be higher on the Seraph than the Obscura Charm. That feels weird to me, though. Yeah, maybe we can get some Seraphs next pack. 1 or 2 of them. These cards are not great. Just going to throw 1 into the sideboard. Going to rare draft here. The uncommon. Rare draft here. The Join the Maestros is not very good. 5 mana, get a 4/3. You can sacrifice something with at least power 2 to get another 4/3, but then it's basically 5 mana to get a 4/3 and turn one of your 2/2s into a 4/3, which is still not the craziest deal ever. Take a Halo Scarab because we could actually play it. It's fine with our self-mill. And we open up an on-color rare, which I suppose we will take. This is a fine rare. It's not actually that exciting. It's 4 mana for a clone, a little bit hard to cast, needing double blue. If you clone your own creature, you get a shield counter onto your clone, which is pretty good. But if you just clone an opposing creature, then it's just a regular old clone, just copies the best creature on board. It's fine. It's probably better than these commons, but not by a massive amount. Maybe even to the point where I'm supposed to take Skybridge Towers here for mana fixing, but still just going to jam in the rare here. Worst case scenario, it's going to fill out the collection. It'll be my final copy of Operative here. Ooh, Psychic Pickpocket is nuts. This is one of the best uncommons in the whole set. Out of the Way is pretty good as well, but I don't think it competes with Psychic Pickpocket. This is a 5 mana 3/2 that when it enters the battlefield it connives, and when you connive, you bounce an opposing non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So this card is a sick tempo play, especially because it comes out on turn 5 as well, so your opponent probably spends 4 mana on a 4/4 or something, and then you untap, draw, play land for turn, play your 5 mana 3/2 and bounce their 4/4 back to the hand, make them skip their next turn. Pickpocket is absolutely nuts. Out of the Way is great as well. Run out of town is fine. Regulator would be fine in here. Obscura Storefront would be beautiful, but I'm not passing a Psychic Pickpocket. That card is the absolute business. Now we have a Corrupt Court Official, which is going to help any casualty that we have. I don't think we actually got that much. We got Rooftop Nuisance. That's about it when it comes to our casualty cards, so we don't need them enough to want to scoop up Corrupt Court Official that bad, where we could still take Out of the Way, but I do want better 1/2 mana creatures here. They just aren't very good right now. which is something that Corrupt Court Official does have me pretty excited about. That being said, we could be a really rude tempo deck with Pickpocket, Run Out of Town, and Out of the Way. I'd go with Out of the Way over Corrupt Court Official. I can definitely see a pretty good argument for taking the Corrupt Court Official there, though. Now we have an Obscura Storefront that I will take. The other options in here that are pretty good are Tainted Indulgence as a nice little card draw spell, Fake Your Own Death, which is pretty good with creatures with Enter the Battlefield or Death triggers like Broker's Veteran, Night Clubber, it's ridiculous with as well. But let's get our mana all set up here for these 3 mana white cards. We have another Rooftop Nuisance now, or another Obscura Charm. Now that I have that Obscura Stormfront, I'll go for the Obscura Charm here. And now we have another Nimble Larcenist. Well, yeah, we're really going for this white splash here. We could go for Corrupt Court Official over it, but this card's just a very good 2-for-1. If it resolves, if you have the mana for it, and if your opponent has the artifact, instant, or sorcery in hand. Alright, we could take Ominous Parcel if we need mana fixing that badly. This also helps get 5 different mana values in our grave for Snooping Newsy. It's actually a solid pick here. We have to take it over Echo Inspector, which Echo Inspector would be good in this deck. We would definitely run it over some of these Revel Runers. We get to cut some of those, but I think Ominous Parcel is actually kind of an exciting role filler in this deck. Being able to pull out the planes from our deck when we need it, being able to fill our graveyard with another 1 mana value card for Snooping Newsy to maybe get bigger, and also add a tiny bit of removal if we don't need that mana fixing. Everything here is pretty bad. I do like Sewer Crocodile at the top end. I generally enjoy having 1 copy of that. So I'll take a Sewer Crocodile. Buy Your Silence just feels like way too slow of removal for the format, and we've got some Obscura Charm, some Whack, some stuff like that, some tempo plays. I'm just going to go for the big old Crocodile. This is another card that helps with the 5 mana value theme as well, because it is a 6 mana card, which you don't get a lot of those. So now we have Expendable Lackey, which I do really want the more nice cheap creatures to play, so I'm going to pick up the Lackey. I think it's better than Metamorphosis in this deck, although this card is quite good. Really nice combat trick, drawing you a card and turning something into a 4/4. Can even turn a non-creature artifact into a 4/4 to really surprise your opponent, but I'm not sure our deck's going to have room for the tricky kind of plays. We need more cheap little blockers early game. We're going to spend all of our non-creature slots on like good removal and mana fixing. Don't love any of this. I'll just take another Run Out of Town. Dig Up the Body would have been fine there as well. Okay, so at this point I'm pretty sure I'm not playing the combat trick. We'll cut that immediately. Chrome Cat's very filler. Halo Scarab's very filler. I'm just going to rare draft here. Highest rarity card. I'll take a Paragon of Modernity that I'm probably not playing, and another one I'm probably not playing. Alright, we have a 27 non-land card deck here, so we're going to cut 3 cards, play a 17 lander. Got a lot of Connive to help prevent Flood or Screw, which is nice. Don't think I can really cut any of our 1-2 mana cards. We kind of just need to be able to block even just our random defender here. Need to not die to the really aggressive decks. Weakest cards look like Revel Runers, Sewer Crocodile, Backstreet Bruiser, and Broker's Veteran are a couple of our weaker cards, but they are some of our only cheap creatures, so I don't think I can cut those. As for non-creature cards, Run Out of Town I think is a little worse than Out of the Way. That card draw is a pretty big deal. It's really about it for non-creature cards we could maybe cut here. Haven't really played Obscura Charm that often before, but I'm not actually that in love with it here. Brings back Nimble Larcenist from grave. That's pretty exciting, but only destroying things with mana value 3 or less is a little narrow. That could maybe be in the cut pile. Let's cut 4 of these cards. Let's see what our counts look like. 18 creatures, 9 non-creatures. We can definitely cut a couple creatures in this deck. We don't need to be that creature heavy. Kind of like just cutting both the Revel Runers maybe here. Yeah, not super in love with it. Still got 1 Echo Inspector there at 4, and the Girder Goons kind of are a turn 4 play to consider as well, because we're going to be blitzing those a lot, so we kind of do have a lot to do on turn 4 and 5, because Girder Goons fits on either turn. So yeah, cut some of the 4 mana stuff to do, and then we still have to cut 2 cards. Could see cutting in the middle here, cut 1 Run Out of Town, 1 Obscura Charm. Have our non-creatures be a little more flexible here, just in between the 2. Sure. Seems like a deck to me. One final pretty important thing to do here. Let's make the mana base ourselves rather than Arena doing it automatically. Okay, so we need to count out our colors, which I guess Arena does that for us, but it looks like 4 white cards total. And then the difference between blue and black is going to be 16 blue cards, 10 black cards. So blue is our number 1, followed by black, and then white is pretty low, but there are cards that we really want to play early, like Nimble Larcenist. The later we play this, the less likely we're actually hitting a card from our opponent's hand. Exotic Pets and Obscura Charm can wait, but Larcenist, we really want to get that down early. So how many white sources do we have with our duels? We have Obscura Storefront is actually just a full-on Triome in our deck, white, blue, or black. But Broker's Hideout is white or blue, so we have 2 lands that can fetch a plains. We also have an Ominous Parcel that can fetch a plains. It's kind of like 3 white sources. Plains makes the 4th. I think I want to go to like 6 here. So 3, 4, 5, 6 potential ways to get that white mana. When we look at blue, we have both of these grabbing blue, all 3 of these grabbing blue actually. So blue's pretty well covered. Well colored, I guess that works too. So that's 4 blue sources already. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we can get to 9 blue sources, 9 black sources, that'd be beautiful. Or like 9, 8, something like that. Let's see, 4 more. So we can put 4 swamps in here and see where that ends up. 4 swamps would bring this to 5, 6, 7 black sources. So 9 blue sources, 7 black sources. 5 white sources. I guess we didn't count parcel on blue or black there. 9-7 split in blue's favor. That's actually probably pretty fine. Every single black card that we have in this deck can be cast off of a single swamp. We can blitz Nightclubber in a pinch, and that's not even bad because it's still good value. So we don't have any black cards in the deck that require 2 black sources, so 7's probably fine there, and then 9 blue sources for the most heavy color in the deck. As you can see, that's a lot of blue in here, and the color that needs double blue sometimes. And then our splash color, we've still got 5 white lands in here, and the Ominous Parcel for the splash color. Looks pretty good. I think that's how I want the mana to be here. And that will be actually the 100% completed deck. So here we are with the final deck. This is going to be a Obscura deck here, a blue-black-white deck. White is definitely the splash here. We're blue-black at the core. We've got a solid amount of decent removal and some really powerful kind of tempo plays. A lot of little value plays. We're going to try to take over the game with triple Girder Goons here is really big. Does a bunch of damage to our opponent, spits out a 2/2 and draws a card. We have Nightclubber that can potentially kill some of our opponent's creatures and leave behind a 2/2 or draw us a card. A couple Nimble Larcenists can be a 2-for-1, giving us a 2/1 flyer and pulling a card out of our opponent's hand forever. Our good removal is like Whack here, Obscura Charm's fine, and then a lot of tempo removal like Run Out of Town, Out of the Way, Rooftop Nuisance. So, yeah, we're going to be an annoying little grindy tempo deck here with a lot of 2-for-1 kind of cards, and hopefully it works out pretty well for us. We also have a decent amount of evasion, some nice flyers, and I guess we took out the menace creatures, but definitely we've got some good flying in this deck, so we'll see how it plays as we head into round 1. Alright, here we are, game 1. We've got our turn 2 Snooping Newsy, and we might actually get 5 mana values in Grave if we don't have to trade off the Newsy early, because there's a 1-drop right there, Ominous Parcel. So that'll be a 1 mana value, a 4 mana value when we cast our Run Out of Town. We'll see here. Drawn triple white. It's definitely not necessary, but that's cool with me. Because we do have 1 island, 1 swamp, so we're still good on mana, even if we draw a lot of our splash color. The really nice thing about the lands in this format, the little fetch lands, is that every one of them that we have in our deck can pull out a different color. None of them are for just white here, so this means we have no white sources left in the deck, because I think we just put 3 plains in and the rest were fetch lands. Yeah, no white sources left in the deck, so it's not like we're going to get any more cut off of another color. And I'm just going to keep this parcel to deal 4 to something, because we have more than enough lands in hand. Rooftop Nuisance is the draw. A little awkward. Definitely not drawing the mid-game creatures we're looking for here. Good cycle is to draw a card, not get hit for 2 next turn, but I'm not that worried about it. Could just slam down a big old 4/6 eventually and have the bigger board state right now. Corrupt Court Official. Well, that's actually kind of rough, because we actually do need all these lands to get to the Sewer Crocodile. Still going to discard a land here, though. Hopefully we draw something else for in the meantime. 5 mana to shoot that. Alright, that's going to hit us then. I guess I could kill it with Obscura Charm. That does not feel worth it. Just a 1 toughness creature. Now, a Mayhem Patrol is the play. Might shoot that one. Menace, and it's basically a 2/2 menace. Actually kind of fine. Actually, did I mill anything good? I could bring back Snooping Newsy instead. Bring back Snooping Newsy or shoot the Mayhem Patrol. Snooping Newsy should be a lifelinker now, right? We'll have a 3, a 4, a 1. Guess it depends when I mill. I'm gonna spin the wheel here, whatever. Let's spin the wheel and see if we can get lifelink here. Another 3 and another 1. That's a no. But Girdergoons puts a 5 into the graveyard. Run out of town puts a 4 in the grave. Slam out the Girdergoons here, get our value. Still have a 2/2 blocker, so they can't attack us with the 1/1. I guess they could attack with everybody and give the Corrupt Court Official +1/+0 for the turn. Alright, as soon as I cast Run Out of Town, we actually do have a 3/3 lifelinker on board. Oh wait, no. We have a 4 in grave. Why is math so hard? 3, 4, 1, 5. Newsy is fun. Even if it's not like super good. It's silly to be looking through your grave like that. So we need a 2-drop in there. A Girdergoons of their own. That will be painful. None of this is going to guarantee that my Newsy gets lifelink. I'm so tempted to just keep it around and just hope for lifelink here. Probably wrong, probably supposed to trade with Magician there, but whatever, I'm going to have a fun draft here. You'll have noticed if you recognize when my videos regularly go up that this video is quite late. The reason for that is that I did record a premiere draft before this, but I didn't realize till halfway through the recording that I was just recording a black screen the whole time. So I did get a 7-2 run in that one, so I got a great run out today. I don't care too much what happens in this one, so be a little goofy with it. That's why I'm a little out of it here. I'm trying to just have fun with it because a little irritated that I lost a whole recording. I don't even know what I do here. Newsy's not going to be lifelinking anytime soon. I could nuisance something. Let's nuisance draw a card, see if we can get out of this one here. Oh my god. Oh my god, Nightclubber next turn, so sick. That's so sick. We probably just hold up our blockers here. I'm not going to want, ideally, to trade off this Newsy, but it's not going to get lifelink anytime soon still. We already have a 3 and 4 in grave. So, at this point, we should just trade off the Newsy. I think I should have traded it off last turn. Corrupt Court Official, never mind. Thank you, friend. I'm discarding this Crocodile. I don't have the time to drop that next turn. I'm just going to gain life. There we go. Now we have a lifelinker, which is going to be a really, really big deal here. And Nightclubber's going to be really good. Okay, Midnight Assassin, hello. Nightclubber's going to get the 4-for-1, kill 3 of their cards and get an attack in here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd rather blitz it. Well, a 2/2 on this board state actually does matter. That could be better to keep it around than to draw a card off of it, weirdly enough. I actually think I will keep this thing around. Now I get a lifelink attack here this turn. There we go. I don't know if holding Snooping Newsy this freaking long was right, but we got rewarded eventually. Far away. It now has lifelink. Now it makes it really hard for our opponents like 1-2s and 2-2s to race in. If we can keep just gaining life here. I'm going to attempt to double block and kill the menace creature here. Hopefully it does not blow up in our faces. Alright, they're going to kill the Night Clubber. No trick. Freelance Muscles to play. I'm going to have to shoot that with Ominous Parceler. That's going to threaten far too much damage. I guess I could just bounce it for now. Am I okay trading Newsy into Assassin? I really don't want to do that, but it's a possibility. Probably just flat out kill the muscle and then attack with my 2-2 on the ground, and they can't really attack back, because if they attack with Midnight Assassin, then we're free to send in the lifelink. And if they attack with a 2-2, we block with a 3-3 lifelink. So we actually have the winning board state here at the end. Our opponent has the better card draw, though. They can discard, or they can sacrifice that tramway station to draw another card. So our opponent is more likely to draw into powerful plays than we are at this point, because they've got 2 tramway stations out now. But the current board state has ended up in our favor, which is pretty nice. I think it's probably a pretty 50-50 game. We have the slightly better board state, they have the slightly better ability to draw out of it. And Dig Up the Body is going to flip it in their favor a bit here. That's going to pick up their 2 best creatures from their graveyard to their hand and mill them 4 to get more good creatures in grave. Now our opponent has the lead again, probably 60-40, something like that. Dig Up the Body's a huge play this turn. And they get a Girder Goons and a Mr. Orfeo, neither of which they can cast this turn at least. We've hit a land, we are now falling behind quite a bit. Could attack them for 5 and gain some life if I run out of town on Midnight Assassin, but then I'm just letting Girder Goons do all its work. I think I'd rather try to run out of town the Girder Goons maybe. They don't draw a card unless it gets sacrificed, or unless it dies specifically. Yeah. Broker's Hideout to thin the deck out. Hopefully draw less lands coming up. Oh wow, there's only 1 basic left in the deck? Oh, the Broker's is the white-blue one. We just couldn't grab a swamp with it. That's what's going on there. Alright. So they can play Orfeo and they can blitz the goons here, I guess. They are going to blitz the goons. Put that back. Now they just attack with Midnight Assassin. Alright, they're going to put it back on top. That'll be their draw next turn. And we unfortunately just hit a land here. Not going to get out of it with draws like these. Pass turn. And Orfeo's going to take the game over now. Attack with an 8-4 Girder Goons, get a 2-2 draw card. Any creature they get has double power thanks to Orfeo. Oh wow. Actually really fine with this. Even if they buff goons. I'm just going to kill Orfeo and go down pretty low on life, but then we've dealt with Orfeo at least. Alright. They kill our Newsy now. Undercover Operative, that's awkward, right after we kill Orfeo. I'm not going to play this island, because then I can get Corrupt Court Officialed. Am I going to play, is a 2-2 with a shield counter good enough to change things? I don't think so. I think I hold on to Operative for now. Because currently we're only taking 1 damage a turn. We're not under that much pressure. But again, our opponent draws better than us. They still have both tramway stations. But yeah, I can trade our 2-2 into their 2-2. We take 1 a turn. We've got quite a while to draw into something. As the current board state stands. Okay, there we go. Echo Inspector is wonderful. Do that. Draw a card, discard a card. probably discarding the land. But that is a huge draw for us. That means we get to play an undercover operative as a shield countered version of this. Drawn to Girder Goons as well, though, which I'm very tempted to just hard cast. Probably just gonna hard cast the Girder Goons now. Not even blitzing it, I just want to leave a 4-4 around. Those were very good draws for us. Hopefully that card in hand is not a corrupt court official that they were waiting for us to get that land out of the way for. Send the undercover operative is very much a goner. Should have played this all probably post-combat. Well, probably Echo Inspector pre-combat, because we have a lot of tempo plays that we could draw into, like bounce an opposing creature, kill their token. But Girder Goons I should have waited till post-combat. Give them less information on the block there. Alright, we're still in it. Some solid draws this turn. Hopefully our opponent misses on these. Per Custodians, kind of a miss. Doesn't affect things too much. But a Fatal Grudge to follow it up is definitely good. Very happy I hardcast the Girder Goons, because now I can just sack that, get a 2-2 out of this at least. Our opponent drew a card off of it, we got a 2-2 out of it. Still want to leave this Echo Inspector around, I think. So we can Undercovered Operative and Echo Inspector. Undercover Operative on a Girder Goons would have been pretty good too, though. But I'm going to go for the Operative on Inspector here. Discard this Broker's Veteran, so it'll be a 3-4 flyer with a shield counter. Which could be nuts. Oh yeah, it's going to be a 3-4 flyer with a shield counter because we're going to play a 2-1 flyer instead of a 2-1 on the ground. Trade into the Echo Inspector. Maybe I should have Larcenist pre-comments in case they had a combat trick. Wow. I guess I should have. Yeah, that's rough. My thought was I wanted to do it post-combat because then... I guess there's not really a reason to do it post-combat, but my thinking was if they had an instant there, if they had instant speed removal, it doesn't matter, because they would just do it in response to Larcenist. I wasn't thinking of specifically a combat trick. If they had a combat trick, then yeah, I could force them to use it when it wasn't the opportune time. So that was pretty bad. Hypnotic Grifter is a beautiful draw. Keep jamming in the sky, trade off with Assassin here. It might be better to hold Larcenist back and just trade a shield counter off into Assassin or hit for 3. But we are going to trade the shield counter off. Here's the Grifter. Alright, if we lose from this point, it was probably self-inflicted. That was really loose, the Larcenist post-combat. Would have had another flyer on this board. Because their Midnight Assassin could have only traded into one of them. We would have played Larcenist, they would have responded with Fake Your Own Death, and we would have just passed turn that turn. Murder. Yep, that's big. It's not enough, though. We're still winning with Larcenist. Attacking would be incredibly bold from our opponent if they don't have a follow-up creature. Alright, so no attack. So I was going to say I could just spam Grifter and try to get it up to 3 power. I only need to hit 2 non-land cards to do that. So it would probably just be lethal if they attacked without a follow-up creature. Expendable Lackey. Well, that's a good card for the Hypnotic Grifter here. Oh my god, I meant to... Oh god, Arena. Playing Magic digitally. Arena cannot hear what you say into the mic, so if you say exactly what your play is, Arena's not going to listen. So when you click on that Lackey in hand, you're doing it in the wrong order. You click on Grifter, then click on Lackey. That's kind of tilting, but we're still in the lead by a decent margin. But obviously we'd be in a way better position. Hypnotic Grifter would be a 2-3, and the Lackey, instead of being a 1-1, would be a 1-1 unblockable fish, and we'd be killing them in 2 attacks instead of 3 here. But yes, obviously the play was to connive the Lackey, which was what I was doing, but my brain was like, alright, discard Lackey, and I clicked on it and it cast it. Because I was not in the Hypnotic Grifter timing. I'll discard this thing, this doesn't... Oh my god, I did it again! I swear to god, that was not intentional. Oh my god. Played too much Paper Magic this weekend. Did my first F&M draft again in about a month, and I'm just doing the thing where I'm like, alright, connive, discard. No. Arena disagrees. It's not what I did. Not what I clicked. Well, luckily for us, our opponent drew really, really poorly in the end, so the mountain of errors, the comedy of mistakes, the comedy of errors in the end, did not add up to get us to lose that game. So we're still going to be 1-0, and luckily we make all those errors in a game where it didn't matter, so we'll keep that in mind. Next time we have Hypnotic Grifter, you need to click on the Grifter first. I guess it's because I played so many Enter the Battlefield connives, because I had just played Echo Inspector and then followed up with another, which is always like the second you play the card, you're immediately in that connive menu where you click on what you want to discard. But yeah, that's obviously not how it works with a Mana Sink connive ability. And yeah, we'll also make sure to always Nimble Larcenist pre-combat so we can get rid of combat tricks with that as well. So... very big lessons learned there that we will hopefully take into our future games and remember here. And it could matter because we're probably going to turn... It's better to turn 2 Newsy or turn 3 Larcenist. This might be a little greedy, but I like turn 2 Newsy here because any untapped land is going to get us a turn 3 Rafine Silencer. And then we can turn 4 the Larcenist. I guess it'd be turn 5 because we'd need specifically a white source for Larcenist. And obviously whenever we play a tapped land, it's going to be... it's going to be pulling out the white source. It's going to come out pretty late. Worst case scenario here, we're still playing Grifter and Storefront this turn and then just playing Larcenist next turn. If we draw Plains, that's where we're massively paid off for our ridiculous amount of greed. Alright, we are not paid off for our greed, but we can go for a Fiend Silencer here. Not actually that good on this board state. Kinda just okay griftering. Hopefully our opponent has another removal spell. I'm surprised they just immediately shot down the 2-2 with their removal spell. Kaldaya Strongarm. Get some counters on Magician permanently and hit us for a lot this turn. Hit us for 6. It's fine. Now, Rafine Silencer, if we discard a non-land card, is big enough to trade into Magician, so I might want to just do that. So I know I can trade into that card. But I could take 4 here. I want to see what's in their hand, know what I'm running up against. Because we can also just play Girder Goons next turn. Wow, Involuntary Employment, Big Score, and Goldhound. Scared the most of Involuntary Employment because there are casualty cards in the set that will sacrifice something, and this could find them lethal out of nowhere as well. So I'm going to exile that permanently. And now we have turn 5 Girder Goons is what we're doing next turn. Just not even blitzing it, just playing it to trade with Magician and give us a 2-2. Make a really big, really good blocker. Obviously, Plasma Jockey can ruin those plans, but Plasma Jockey has to attack to shut off a blocker, and Plasma Jockey trades off into any of our creatures when it does so. So we'll just leave everything untapped on the the Plasma Jockey turn. And if they blitz it, then we don't have to worry about Plasma Jockey in the future because it's just gone. So this is fine. And they might not have blitzed it if we held up Hypnotic Grifter as a blocker here, because they would have realized that, like, well, anything's just going to trade anyway. So I think that all panned out pretty well. Now I do need to play pretty defensively down at 9 life, but Girder Goons does that real well. I guess Larcenist does block pretty terribly. We don't know what their 2 cards are. If there's another Jockey, we might be in a little bit of trouble, but otherwise, Larcenist starting to get in every turn is probably fine. We're going to gain a life next turn. We're going to play another Girder Goons, just use these as massive blockers, really slow down our opponent, start doing our thing, taking over the game in the sky, stalling the board out and chipping away with our birds. Body Dropper is the play here, splashed off of that Gold Hound. So that is a way they could have sacrificed one of our creatures with that involuntary employment. They do need another black source, though, to start using the sacrifice creature ability. But this still gets bigger as they play blitz cards and the like. Slam Dunk block here. Even if they combat trick, I'm not unhappy with it because of Girder Goon's death trigger. Nightclubber is the draw. Pretty sure I'm just slamming down another Girder Goons. Going up to 10 life now, so I'm kind of cool with the attack here too. Maestro's Theater is going to pull out another Swamp for us. I guess we got a lot of black cards here. Make it possible to next turn cast Nightclubber and Rafine Silencer without having to blitz the Nightclubber if we don't want to. And there's the big score. Drawing 2, creating a couple treasure tokens that can be used for their black sources for whatever else they're splashing in. And they have 3 cards in hand now, so they're definitely not out of it. Do have quite the better board state right now. Riveteer's Requisitioner, 3/1 that creates a treasure token when it dies. Sure, still have great blocks. Obscura Charm's a pretty sick draw, especially if this Larcenist dies somehow. I mean, Nightclubber's kind of just nasty now. Really nasty. Makes their Body Dropper a 1/1 on blocks here. I'm just gonna get really mean and really aggressive here with Obscura Charm as a backup plan. If they somehow find a lot of damage, I'm just going to send everybody in. We're going to go to 2. They must be expecting some way to find lethal here as their only hope out of this game. It's not to say that they think they can lethal us, but they at least think that the only way they win is if they find lethal out of nowhere here. Alright, involuntary employment is a start to that. It's not lethal yet. I think I still just counter that. Now I obviously don't have any response to anything else they're doing, but I don't see a way for only 4 mana that they could find lethal. 4 mana and 1 card? Yeah, it's just a Sticky Fingers. Okay. And we will get there. 2-0 now for our Obscura deck. Here we go now, game 3. We're on the play and we have the blue source for all these cards, except for Operative needing double blue, so gonna be a keep here. Not the greatest hand in the universe, the lack of double blue could be a concern, but outside of that, it's not horrible. It's got our filler 2-drops just because we needed 2-drops in here. So, doesn't look like massively spicy. But it is certainly not a mulligan. Let's see what our opponent's on soon here. They're deciding their mulligan still. 7 cards in hand right now. Looks like it's going to be a keep. Let's pull out that island, ready for our turn 2 Broker's Veteran. Maybe we get to hit them a little bit before they drop a creature. Alright, no turn 1 play, and there's the second island for us. So now we can cast pretty much everything. We can blitz Girder Goons in a pinch. Snooping Newsy. I'll drop a Bruiser here, and I'd be okay with Veteran trading into Newsy if I get the counter off of it. Even if the counter goes on something pretty mediocre like Backstreet Bruiser, that makes it so it can chump block twice, which is cool. Play a Maestro's Theater. Grab another blue. Because I do have a double blue card in hand, so maybe there'll be a future turn I want to cast Undercover Operative and another blue spell. Oof, Nimble Larcenist, that's rough. We did have to spend the Obscure Storefront on the blue source, because it was our only blue source in hand turn 1. And Maestro's Theater, of course, does not pull out the planes, so that's how we've ended up here. Which is not a wonderful place to be mana-wise. Girder Goons just shoots the shield counter off of the agent and draws us a card, makes it 2/2. Is that worth it? The alternative is to play nothing this turn, because I don't think I want to just operative their Wing Shield agent. But it actually wouldn't be horrible. You know, I'm just going to operative their Wing Shield agent. And we'll just both start attacking right over each other. Nobody's ever blocking this game. The Wing Shield agent comes with a shield counter, and whenever it attacks, another creature you control gets flying till end of turn. I guess the Wing Shield agent itself doesn't get flying, so Wing Shield agent's actually stronger on our field than it is on theirs, because we have a Backstreet Bruiser to block their Wing Shield agent. But they don't have anything that blocks Wing Shield agent without losing a shield counter or dying. Alright, 4 color from our opponent, blue, black, red, white. That does make me excited. Be happy to see them do some spicy things. There's a weird 5-color Mythic Red that's not very good in this set, but it would be really cool to see it. Can hit for 2, bounce a shield counter off their agent. Seems okay with me, but I think I'd rather just play a Girder Goons. Not really want to use my flying attack with Wing Shield agent until I can make my Girder Goons flying. Because then it could be the kind of thing where this turn they block my Wing Shield agent with their Wing Shield agent, then next turn I attack Wing Shield agent Girder Goons and they double block my Wing Shield agent. Doesn't seem great to me. I'm just going to bounce our Girder Goons here, have us recast it. It's actually pretty fine with us. We've got nothing else to do next turn unless I hit my white source. So, far from the worst that a Psychic Pickpocket can hit you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'll hold this island in hand in case of Corrupt Court Officials. Relatively popular card. Makes us discard a card. We really don't want to discard these two. So we'll just pass turn. Opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. They've got the card advantage here for sure. They've got almost every color in the game, so I would expect they can play some explosive plays and maybe start really turning things in their favor. As it stands, things are pretty even right now. Not a lot happening. Just both have a wall on the board. That can change a lot as soon as I get a white source. We've got a lot of unblockable ways to get damage in. Nightclubber. Goodbye, Broker's Veteran. Put a second shield counter on my Wing Shield agent, which would be hilarious. But shield counter on Girder Goon seems pretty good. Trade into the Pickpocket, and then we still have Girder Goons, and it'll still give us a 2/2 when it dies. So that's going to die in the end step anyway, because they blitzed it, so alright, get 2 damage and then draw your card. They're going to get their 1/1 unblockable fish. Obscure Charm. This is awkward. This is all of our white cards. Actually, no, we have 2 Larcenists. This is 3/4 of our white cards. I don't actually think I'm attacking all that well here. I do still have the 3/3 for the pickpocket. 2/3 for one of these. Yeah, I can attack with Girder Goons. Guess we could just trade shield counters here. Well, they just want to take the 4. That's fair enough. See what they have now. Could be deciding attacks on board, not really worried. We don't really have a lot to think about over here. We're just thinking about drawing the planes pretty much. All of our blocks on board are pretty simple. Bruiser on pickpocket immediately if they send it in. Wing shield on Newsy if they send it in. If they send wing shield plus pickpocket to give the pickpocket flying, then we just block with the 3/3 bruiser to pop their shield counter without losing our own shield counter. Probably taking the one from the fish. Alright, so the plays are a hard cast Girder Goons, so not getting blitzed in, and Maestro's Theater, gain a life, get a land out there. They didn't attack with the fish. I don't really want to whack anything. Right now, I think I'm just passing. There's no one really important target to whack. Like, if there was, it would be the fish, really, out of everything. Because the wing shield agent, again, it doesn't give it itself flying. Oh, whack is really, really good against shield counters. So they will whack our Girder Goons. It's super rough. But yeah, like, it's maybe the fish, it's maybe the wing shield agent, because if we whack the wing shield agent, we get rid of their shield counter value. If we whack the fish, we don't have to worry about any unblockability. So I get to trade Bruiser into Pickpocket, or I get to trade my shield counter and Bruiser into Girder Goons. That feels like a much worse trade. I think I just trade Bruiser into Pickpocket here. Could trade my shield counter into just gaining 4 life here. Doesn't feel horrible, but I don't think I'm going to do that yet. At 20 life here, we can take 5. Quaza. Well, we found our whack target. Now we've drawn all 4 white cards. That card drains us a life every single turn. We lose this game really quickly if we don't hit the white source now. Wow, and the deal gone bad as well. 2 -X removals to ruin both of our shield counter plays. Not a lot to say about this matchup, just draws aligning really poorly versus really well. That pretty much seals the deal, even if we hit the planes. And we don't. We're very dead. Here we are in game 4. We are 2-1 now. This is not a super keepable hand. We're not going to cast anything until turn 4 unless I hit a swamp, and then the only thing we're casting is interaction, and that's the only thing we're playing turn 4 anyway. I guess we could Girder Goons on 5 if we hit the swamp, but I think we have to mulligan this. It's just very, very slow, and its potential to not hit the right colors. Mulligan that away. This is a lot better. Double white cards here is kind of rough, but I think I'm still going to get rid of a swamp here. The upside of hitting the white source is pretty big, and we do have like 6 white sources minimum, if I recall correctly. And there we go. Broker's Hideout gets us the white source we need. I don't get to Snooping Newsy turn 2 if I play Broker's Hideout turn 1 or turn 2. So I'm actually going to go for the Broker's Hideout turn 2 here, because then if I top deck a planes this turn, I can go Newsy into Larcenist. But if I don't top deck a planes, I'll probably just hide out. Now that I played Crooked Custodian, I'm a little interested in just blocking with Newsy. Slowing our opponent down. Could also get greedy here and still go for Larcenist. No, let's play defensively here. Got a pretty great late game hand, especially because we could double Larcenist with this Obscura Charm potentially. We milled the plains. If Snooping Newsy didn't mill, we would have gotten the turn 2 Snooping Newsy into turn 3 Larcenist. Just magical Christmas land there. But cannot choose not to self-mill with the Newsy. Alright. 3-1, draws them 2 and discards a card from grave. That's fine. Let's get a Plains now. Mono black still from our opponent. They are definitely black-red or black-blue at the minimum if they're running Maestro's Initiate. You definitely don't just play a 3-mana 3-1 that does nothing else. At least if you can avoid it. Ooh, Exotic Pets is actually kind of legit. Trade a single pet into their Initiate now. Creature Enchantment or Planeswalker over my hand, and I discard it. Counter that with Obscura Charm. They just make me discard Larcenist here, I guess. It's fine. Yeah, I guess our opponent's just mono black stuff. They have to have something to splash with the Maestro's Initiate, though. Or else it's very weird. I guess they're not attacking with Initiate this turn now, but I could still use Exotic Pets to double block Ruiner. They don't attack me at all, and they make me discard Larcenist. I can use Obscura Charm to just get it back immediately. That'd actually be fine. Check out what's going on in their hand. Hopefully exile another card, an artifact or instant or sorcery. Maybe a removal spell. Be pretty fine with them making us discard Crocodile. It's the scariest looking card in our hand. Yeah, discard Crocodile it is. Fair enough. Still attack all here. See if it's some kind of trick to save Initiate, or if we just get to trade a fish into it. We do get to trade a fish into it. And then a Crooked Custodian. And I'm just going to Larcenist here. Trade Larcenist into this Custodian. If Quick Draw Dagger, Night Clubber. Oh, Night Clubber's absolutely disgusting here. Would probably just lose to Night Clubber. Well, my board's gone anyway, so might as well attack with this fish. But now they just play a Night Clubber and hit us for 9 if they blitz it, and my board is gone. That is just... that's the #1 final card they could have had in hand here. That is horrible for us. Down to 5 now. Get a lackey, get some chump blockers out. Go for the attacks. Pick up the Larcenist. Picking up Newsy might be okay because we could get lifelink, but I'm gonna go for Larcenist. Oh, it comes to play tapped. Okay, well, that's good to know for a future matchup. Why? Why does it come to play? Okay. Alright, it comes to play tapped. Now we're just dead. We're very dead. Kill one of these, block there, take 3, but I can't make enough creatures to block. Yeah, we're dead. That was a weird match. We got absolutely destroyed. Things did not line up well for us at all. I also made some misplays, but that was after the point where it would have mattered. Well, that was brutal. That Night Clubber really was... just got the whole game. Alright, we are in round 5 now. We're 2-2. Things have lined up real poorly for us in these last couple games. Hopefully that can change here. This is definitely not a hand that looks like it's going to change anything. I'm going to have to mulligan this, I think. We're not playing anything till 4. That's only if I hit a land, and they have to have a good creature out for me to play something turn 4. Otherwise, I'm just going to operative one of their bad creatures for 4 mana. If I hit a single swamp, I guess I can blitz a Nightclubber. I do have access to whack. Hitting a single swamp actually does make this hand somewhat reasonable, but it's like we're still not like committing a creature to the board till turn 4 maybe, because Nightclubber's not going to stay. I think I have to mulligan this. This is better. It's blue-black now. We get rid of this operative. Operative has been real awkward. Definitely lower on it than I was before, and I already in the draft was saying how I actually don't know if it's that much better than these commons. We could get rid of Sewer Crocodile. That is a lot of mana. Maybe we do keep operative. We just need to hit an island here. Sand actually has very similar problems. We're not really doing anything in the early game. But at least this way we know we're doing things later on, instead of just hoping we're doing things. Blue-white from our opponent. Pretty scary color pair. They can have a lot of value. Gathering Throng is an explosive card. Yeah, we're dead. Gathering Throng is just going to beat us. Gathering Throng is a pretty coin flippy kind of card. In general, I'd say it's pretty good to take them highly because you never know in your draft pod. You can end up in draft pods where nobody else is drafting Gathering Throngs, and then you're going to win most every game you cast it in because they're going to pull out 4 extra copies from your deck. And that looks like what might have happened with our opponent here. Okay, they didn't pull out a Throng there, so I guess they just have 3 Throngs. 3 Throngs is still pretty good. Basically a 3-mana 3/1 draw 2 cards when it enters the battlefield. 3 Throngs is the cutoff where it becomes pretty good. At 2 Throngs, it's kind of mediocre. But the deck that I played, where my recording failed, the deck that I went 7-2 with, was a deck where I had 5 Gathering Throngs. It was disgusting. We're definitely discarding a land here. Don't need any more of these. Psychic Pickpocket. We're getting tempoed out really hard. Opponent on the play with Throng, Pickpocket as the curve. And this is just showing off how aggressive of a format New Capenna can be. Because even without a 1-drop or 2-drop, we're getting hit really, really hard. It's going to be super hard to come back. Wow, and tons of removal here. Definitely fine with them keeping a kill shot. That being said, I can only get rid of 1 Buyer Silence, which means they're going to get rid of my board state anyway. But yeah, we let them keep kill shot for later. We're going to have to just whack a Gathering Throng. There are no better white cards in their hand they're going to play. We need to stem the bleeding. Now they're going to Buy Your Silence our Larcenist and hit for 6, and then we're dead in 1 more swing. Or if they don't Buy Your Silence, they just play another land here and play 2 more creatures. Play a Psionic Snoop and a Gathering Throng. They're going to play the Snoop first, hoping to draw the land. So they discard the kill shot and then play land Gathering Throng. They draw an island. They had another island the whole time. Okay, never mind. All right, at least we get to have this Larcenist trade into the Pickpocket here. But now they still have 6 power on board and Buy Your Silence to get rid of a blocker. Play 2 blockers here, Echo Inspector and Broker's Veteran. They only buy 1 card Silence. Oh my god, why did I do that? Oh my god. Oh my god. That was the only land that was wrong to discard. Whoops. Holy crap. Welcome to the punt zone. I have no idea why I did that. I can't explain that at all. I just clicked on a land because I'm like, alright, we discard a land here. Oh, they drew in to sleep with the fishes? Alright. Today was a day full of punts, but it was also a day full of getting absolutely crushed where the punts really didn't matter. Just mega dead. Regardless. Yeah, now we're just dead this turn. Even if I had the Broker's Veteran out last turn, I guess it trades into a Gathering Throng. Puts a shield counter on my tapped Echo Inspector. Then I would have played another Echo Inspector here. Instead of being at 4, I would be at 7, but they would still be attacking with a Throng and an unblockable 1/1. I would go down to 1 life instead of 0. Or no, I'd go down to 3 life instead of 0. So I'd be at 3 life. Next turn I would play a Girder Goons. Maybe no, I would play a Girder Goons and I'd be getting hit unblockably for 1 each turn. I didn't have a shot, unless I drew incredibly well from that moment on. But that was obviously a huge pun. I don't know why I discarded the island. I couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you is that is going to end this draft. I was going to say today's draft, but I did a draft before this. It was a great 7-2 Citizens run, and I wasn't recording right. I'm so mad about that, but that's okay. This draft was fine. We had some rough draws, some rough lineups there. We had an okay amount of 2-mana or less plays, and we really, feels like we almost never drew them. At least in our 3 losses, we really didn't hit those early game when we wanted them. Obscure Charm was even weaker than I thought it would be generally. The fact that it returns a thing to the battlefield tapped is super rough. Don't like that very much. Probably wouldn't have seen that as a great splash and would have taken another good on-color blue or black card when we ended up scooping those up. I did like the Nimble Arsonists, like the Night Clubber. Rafine Silencer we never got to cast. Undercover Operative was another underperformer. Outside of that, though, like, I don't know, Rooftop Nuisance, the tempo plays didn't work out massively well for us, but the Girder Goons were great, Echo Inspector was awesome, Night Clubber and Nimble Arsonists were great, Newsy was fine. It was overall a fine deck. Feels like a pretty average run, or an average deck, so I'm not massively unhappy with the 2-3. I do end up... Generally, I don't like going 2-3. I never like going 2-3, but this deck's just an average deck. This is a deck that I think it's pretty coin flippy between whether this deck goes 2-3 or maybe 5-3 at its peak. So somewhere in the 2-3 to 5-3 range, maybe even the 1-3 to 5-3 range is like, yeah, to be expected for me for this deck. Not the greatest thing ever. Not massively unhappy with that, especially after getting a 7-2 run earlier. Unfortunately, I don't get to show you. I might take a screen cap of the deck so you can take a peek at that if you're interested. But yeah, that was it was basically 5 Gathering Throngs was the whole deck. That was the whole deck idea. But we did have Darling of the Masses, which buffs all of your citizens with +1 and spits out a 1/1 citizen every time it attacks. Had the Civil Servant, the 2-mana 2/3 that when it attacks you can tap it on tapped citizen to give it +1/+0 lifelink. Had 3 backup agents to go with the Civil Servant, so anytime you get that on turn 2 and follow it up with a backup agent, you're gaining 4 life on your attack on turn 3, which is insane. Our removal was pretty bad in that deck, but that was the only weakness of the deck, really. The creature base was really nice, and we had a couple good combat tricks as well to really utilize our Gathering Throngs well, so that deck was pretty sweet. This deck, pretty average, pretty mediocre, and gets the expected results for it. A 2-3 run here. Did learn a lot of stuff for coming back into the format for the next few drafts these next few days. We'll definitely make sure to play my Connive a lot better than I did today, and if I ever play Obscure Charm again, it is very important to know that brings things back tapped. But yeah, that is going to end today's draft. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know to send some more of these videos to you in your recommended feeds. But as always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.